They tried to erase an entire people from the map. Yet their story refuses to disappear. The land between the Jordan River and the Mediterranean Sea has seen empires rise and fall, families forced from their homes, and generations growing up under flags they never chose. To understand today, we have to go back before headlines and hashtags, before walls and checkpoints, to when the region now called Israel and Palestine was part of the Ottoman Empire. For hundreds of years, Jewish and Arab communities lived here, with layered identities and cultures shaped by empire, religion, and trade. Everything changed during the First World War. The Ottoman Empire collapsed, and Britain took over this land under what became known as the British Mandate. In 1917, the British government released the Balfour Declaration. It supported a national home for Jewish people in Palestine, while promising the rights of the existing non-Jewish communities would be protected. Two promises written on the same piece of paper, but impossible to fully deliver. Jewish immigration increased through the 1920s and 1930s, especially as anti-Semitism and persecution surged in Europe. Palestinian Arabs saw their homes, farmland, and political future slipping from their hands. The 1936 to 1939 Arab revolt against British rule and Jewish settlement was crushed, leaving deep scars. Britain struggled to control rising violence and handed the issue over to the United Nations. In 1947, the United Nations proposed dividing the land into two states, one Jewish and one Arab. Jewish leaders accepted the plan, believing it was the best chance for statehood. Palestinian and Arab leaders rejected it, arguing it violated the rights of the Arab majority. Civil war erupted. On May 14, 1948, Jewish leaders declared the State of Israel. Arab armies entered. Israel survived the war and gained even more territory than the UN plan had offered. For Palestinians, 1948 is remembered as the Nakba, the catastrophe. More than 700,000 Palestinians fled or were expelled, expecting to return when the fighting stopped. But they were never allowed back. Families still carry the keys to homes they have not seen in more than 70 years. Refugee camps in Gaza, the West Bank, Lebanon, and Jordan grew into permanent communities. In 1967, a 6-day war reshaped everything again. Israel captured the West Bank, East Jerusalem, and Gaza. Millions of Palestinians now lived under Israeli military occupation without citizenship or a clear future. Israeli settlements began rising on occupied land, creating new realities that would shape every negotiation to come. Hope returned briefly in the 1990s with the Oslo Accords. Israeli and Palestinian leaders shook hands and agreed on a path toward two states. But the hardest questions were postponed. Borders, Jerusalem, refugees, and the settlements. Violence and political distrust shattered what many believed was the best chance for peace. By 2007, Hamas controlled Gaza. Israel imposed a blockade, and repeated wars brought suffering for civilians on both sides. Today, the same core issues continue. One land with two peoples, who both call it home. Palestinians demand freedom, equality, and the right to return. Israelis demand security after a history marked by persecution and fear. Walls, checkpoints, and rockets dominate life. Yet the simple truth remains: no one is leaving. The future will have to be shared. Understanding this conflict does not mean choosing a side. It means recognizing loss, resilience, and the hope that refuses to die. If we want a better tomorrow, we have to understand what brought us here. If this helped bring clarity, like the video, subscribe, and stay curious about the world's most important stories.